Welcome to BEFM Drama. I'm your host, Ryan Estrada. This week on the show we have something totally different for you. Instead of adapting a book or a graphic novel, we're going to adapt a film that was shot right here in Busan. The Captain was created for the Liquid Arts Film Festival that was held on Gwangan Beach last year. It won Best Film, and its lead, Carrie Mayer, won Best Actor. After that, it was invited to the prestigious Busan International Short Film Festival. Despite all these awards and accolades, it is deeply silly. Please enjoy BEFM Drama's production of The Captain. Inside a police interrogation room. A suspect sits and waits until suddenly the door opens. A detective slowly enters the room, but he doesn't say a word. He gently sets a clear plastic umbrella on the table. The suspect is a little surprised by this evidence. The detective is in no hurry to say anything, delicately cleaning his glasses. Then he speaks.
Explain this.
It's an umbrella.
Is that all it is?
Well, it's not going to make a comparison.
This reminds me of 1970. Captain Jim Lovell took a 5-day journey around the moon. Nearly everything that could go wrong did. The oxygen tank blew out. The air went out. The heat, power, the water. Everybody on that flight could have died nearly 100 times over. But Captain James Lovell brought that spaceship back to Earth safe and sound and got rescued. On April 17th.
The umbrella reminds you of that.
A few decades later, Captain Richard Phillips went on a journey through the Indian Ocean. Things didn't turn out well for him either. Got hijacked by pirates. But he and his crew got rescued on April 17th.
Okay.
Whoop-dee-doo. 2 captains, 2 ships. Both take perilous journeys for 5 days and get rescued on April 17th. Now, what are the odds that both of those captains end up being played by Tom Hanks?
I don't get it. Is this related to the umbrella?
Do you think Tom Hanks conspired to document the tales of every captain who went on a perilous 5-day journey and was rescued on April 17th?
I am so confused.
Answer the question!
It's a coincidence.
Good. Now we're on the same page. See, some detectives don't believe in coincidences, but I'm a reasonable man. I believe that sometimes coincidences are coincidences. Maybe Tom Hanks just plays a lot of captains. It's a law of averages. I don't jump to conclusions.
It's a very common umbrella. They sell it at every convenience store in the country.
The detective picks up the umbrella and slowly opens it, examining it in meticulous detail. The suspect sweats.
Coincidence. But sometimes new facts come to light, and It gets my head swimming.
What came to light?
Tom Hanks is shooting a movie now. It's called The News of the World. He plays Captain Jefferson Kyle Kidd, a man who takes a perilous journey across America during the last week after the Civil War.
What did you find on that umbrella? Fingerprints?
See, the Civil War ended on April 9th. Now, let's say Tom Hanks leaves the next morning. He got to get a good night's rest, and then he travels for a week. So the perilous journey ends. Let's do the math.
I must have left the umbrella in the basket outside the store. If someone had the same one, it would be easy to accidentally...
Let's do the math!
April 17th.
April 17th! This isn't even a true story. What is Tom Hanks doing now? Making up captains to fit this sick game of his?
Just ask me what you want to ask.
I am asking you. Is this some kind of sick game for Tom Hanks? Is it some kind of fetish?
Yes?
Another coincidence. You see how reasonable I am? See, I don't use coincidences against other people unless they give me a compelling reason to do so.
What compelling evidence do you have against me? The other detective came in here earlier and brought up no evidence. It was just a neighbor who overheard an argument.
It's just another coincidence, is it?
Oh. Okay. I get where you think you're going with this. You said someone kept yelling, "It's yours, it's yours." You said it stuck with them because usually in a robbery you hear, "It's mine, it's mine." But I saw your timeline. The screams came after the murder took place, so it wasn't an argument with the victim. So I see what you're doing here. You think it was two killers arguing over something that was left behind. So is that where you get your second umbrella theory from? Is that all you got? And that woman you brought me in with? I don't know who that is. Let me guess. Kiki says she knew me. She's lying.
Kiki. Kiki says hi.
I must have heard someone say her name out in the holding area.
I've talked a lot with Kiki. Kiki knows lots of things.
What does Kiki know?
Kiki can name more Tom Hanks captains than me.
Okay, sure, you talk a lot with Kiki. What proof do you have that anything she says is true? What, some umbrella?
Captain Sully Sullenberg!
What did she say?
Captain John H. Miller, the United States Army Rangers.
Okay, I get it. Kiki's good at naming names.
Shrimp boat captain. I forgot that one, but Kiki remembered.
She tried to pin it on me, didn't she?
Paul Edgecombe, captain of the guards at Shawshank Prison.
What did she tell you?
No. That's Green Mile. I got my prisons mixed up. I guess I'm not as experienced with prisons as you're about to be.
I'm not gonna take the fall for this one. I saw her pull the trigger. I was there.
You were there? Morris Myrick's. You're under arrest for accessory to the murder of Kenneth May.
No! It was her. She bought the umbrellas. She insisted that it was my umbrella that was left behind, but I'm sure it was hers. I remember putting mine next to the door. You were looking everywhere for that thing. Did you find it?
I didn't find an umbrella at the crime scene.
What?
I never mentioned the second umbrella. We had no evidence, like, at all. I mean, we had nothing. when they were about to let you go?
Man, what was all of that about coincidences?
That's just the way I interrogate. I slowly put the evidence on the table, and then I tell that Tom Hanks story, and people just start confessing. It's weird, I know, but...
The suspect winces and swears at the detective.
Oh, hey. I'm not a detective. I'm a captain.
The captain drops a business card on the table. It reads, T. Hanks for the confession. Thank you for listening to BEFM Drama's production of The Captain. It starred Carrie Mayer as the captain and Maurice Turner as Morris Myricks. It was directed by Tim Paugh. It was produced by Eric Pleasy. It was written by me, Ryan Estrada. The songs Devastation and Revenge and Rising Tide were by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech and released under a Creative Commons Attribution License. Now let's talk to Tim Paugh, the director of the film, to learn a little bit more about it. All right, I'm here with Tim Paugh, the director of The Captain. So Tim, tell me a little bit about how this film came to be.
Well, there was a 72-hour film contest that was held by a local arts organization called Liquid Arts, and we ended up in a team together. Me, you, Eric Pleasy, Carrie Maurer, Maurice Turner, a bunch of kind of local artists who I guess we've all wanted to work together. We have worked together, some of us, in the past, and it was just kind of a great meeting of the minds. We just, I don't know, got together and saw what we could do.
Yeah, I was chosen as the writer for this film, and basically my goal for this was I knew we had 72 hours to make something, and like I was racking my brain trying to come up with something important and meaningful, and I realized the two actors we have are just so they're so powerful and like dramatic actors that I thought the funniest thing we could do is to give them something completely ridiculous and let them take it totally seriously and see if that made it funny. And it was scary because I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work. But you and they worked together. How did you make that work so that such a silly story was taken seriously?
Well, I think one thing that we all agreed on from the beginning was that we would trust each other each step of the way. And I think that's very important for a 72-hour film festival. You have such a limited amount of time, so you have to just be able to hand off the baton to each member of the team and trust that they'll carry it all the way. So, yeah, it just felt like a really great collaborative process.
Speaking of collaboration, one of the reasons I'm happy to bring this onto BEFM is that it's a very BEFM-centric film. It was written... I work here, you work here, Eric Pleasy, our producer, works here. Carrie has done stuff here at BEFM before. He's been in BEFM drama. And, well, maybe this has to be the first film ever that was based on a BEFM morning show segment, because I do Blast from the Past on Morning Wave. When I was sitting there trying to think of a script, my idea initially was, what if I do a police interrogation where the cop never mentions anything about the crime? What can I have him talk about that would just make them nervous? I was trying to think of a coincidence. And I remembered on the morning show, I just do This Week in History. And I remember one day on the show, I had been like, oh, isn't it weird that two different Tom Hanks movies were based on things that happened this week where someone returned from a perilous 5-day journey and everything went wrong? And I'm like, let's just get nerdily obsessed with that fact. And then I did like deep dive research into like, this is more than a coincidence. Tom Hanks has played a lot of captains. And so, it all spun out of something that happened here at BEFM, and then weirdly a lot of BEFM people got involved in it. So we made the film, we showed the film, and then it got some success. Tell me about things that happened after we made the film.
Yeah, so it ended up winning Best Film and Best Actor at the 72-hour film festival that Liquid Arts held, and it ended up being selected by the Busan International Short Film Festival for a new program that they were putting on featuring films made by local filmmakers. So that was a great honor. I mean, unfortunately, due to COVID, things had to move online this year, so we weren't able to see it on the big screen. But all things considered, it was really cool that we were able to basically start with this, rather silly but fun premise and carry it all the way to, a major local festival. I mean, this is an Oscar qualifying festival. It's quite an honor to be part of it. And I think that's just a testament to how good a work you can do if you're working with the right people, if you have the right process down, and if you trust each other. I think I learned so much about collaboration, and I guess kind of seeing that acknowledged at the end of the process was very satisfying, especially for Carrie, I think, because you'd worked with Carrie before. I never really had a chance to work with him directly, and it was a real honor just getting to see him do his stuff and be acknowledged for it. Maurice was fantastic as well. I mean, I really, this was probably one of the smoothest films I've done and I've worked on. I think in the end, that translates to the audience, and I think the audience not only kind of senses the fun that we had making it, so it's great to be able to share it with audiences again in a different format, which surprisingly it works quite well in. I've never imagined making this film that it could work as a radio drama, but it has worked very well.
Thank you so much for talking to me about it. Thank you for directing the film. I, of course, want to thank our cast and crew, and a big thanks to the real man we need to show respect to, Tom Hanks.
Tom, if you're hearing this, thank you so much for being so many captains.
And then right after we made the film, he released a poster for a brand new movie where it literally says Captain on his helmet. And I'm like, Tom Hanks, you're messing with us now.
I mean, he has been sending us subliminal messages for years, begging us to make this film about him. And I hope he's seen our work and realizes that we see you, Tom. We get what you're trying to do here.